not like trying to make money off of you right now. I'm just trying to find like the best method to reach the most people. And so I think going live as much as possible should convey the fact that like money is not a thing. I'm not trying to like recruit you to my channel. I thought it was a good method, but that probably is more for people that I don't know. So the basis is my whole life I've been drawn towards like death and suicide because I've been suicidal like for years and years and years. Like from the time I was, most clearly I remember from the time I was like an early teenager, like maybe 11 or 12. But my mental health issues go back to, I mean, I have a clear distinction around the time I was 4 when something weird happened. And I'm going to bring in my parents, but I attribute like zero fault to them. I understand that's not a thing that is going on right now. I just have a lot of connections and I've had a lot of like problems that I've needed to solve. So we moved from, I was born in Cleveland, we moved to Utah, and then around 3, we moved to Arkansas. And so I believe that was like a source of a main stressor for me. I was really little and I think my parents were stressed out. And I can link that all together to see that around 4 could have been like a starting point for me where I felt like unsafe and unsure about certain things, because obviously like that's pretty stressful for my parents. Like that's not their fault, that's just a choice that they made. And then my whole life I've been trying to connect the dots because I've been just unhappy, I've been sad, I've been negative, I've been like suicidal, I have self-harm tendencies, I have all kinds of weird behaviors, but apparently I don't express them on the outside. And a way to get that like outside of me was like clothes and tattoos and piercings to show that, because apparently what I portray is that I'm happy and I have my life all together, but I literally struggle like staying alive on a daily basis. And so that's like a really weird conundrum. The other weird thing is that like my friends and family are dropping like flies from suicide. And since I became pregnant, I was determined to stay alive for someone outside of myself, which I understand isn't healthy, but there's not a whole lot that's been healthy about me my whole life. And so as like I can see the suicide increasing, I am like, and I'm going to be using language, so if it offends you, just know I'll try to keep it minimal, but sometimes it's just doesn't align with who I am as a person. I'm like, oh shit, this is scary. Like, I've had a lot of really close people kill themselves. And I mean, there's one triggering event, and I'm only going to name names if it seems like positive or not like super weird connection, but he knows who he is. And that was a connection I made while I was in an inpatient facility. She happened to be LDS. I grew up Mormon, LDS, and it was like, hey, we're both kind of crazy. What's the deal? Like, what's going on? And, you know, I bonded with the family because of circumstances of watching their kids. And it's like, what do we do when the mom needs to go to rehab and I have to work and we have kids? Like, what do people do? So I was like, apparently sane enough at the time to fill that role. And so I guess what I'm saying is I can't just sit by and be like chronically suicidal and be like, oh, I have nothing to contribute. I have to not be embarrassed for the sake of people literally dying all the time. I fluctuate with how I feel a lot. Obviously, it's clear from my Facebook posts. That's really hard for me. I made a YouTube video and it wasn't received very well. I think that people thought that it was like a money, like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like people try to push their business on you. Although I know in conversation, people would be super supportive and happy to support me in any business endeavors. So I guess what I'm trying to say is my connection to like suicide and death and negativity and like always like trying to not be perpetually depressed or dead. And so I just wanted to say, as I get to the point, I'm trying to refine my method so that I can reach more people, because people are literally dying like by the second, by the minute. Like as I live my life, I'm like someone's like, oh, hey, did you know that this person? I'm like, this is not okay. Like, I'll struggle. I mean, I feel like I've made a connection to where I don't feel that way anymore, but I've struggled my whole life to stay alive, and it hasn't been an easy feat. It has taken a really strong, uh, wide, weird village of people to perpetually propel me along when I felt like I couldn't. And so, like I said before, I'm not watching. I'm like trying not to watch who's watching, and I'm going to post it to my thing so that people can watch it whenever. And like, that's not a thing I want to be, but I understand that people know that you can see when you go live and everything. I just want to say, I'm going to be talking about suicide and how it happens. And if YouTube is a poor method for people that I know and I care about, then I'm not going to do YouTube. I'll just be going live a lot and saving it to my history because I realize now that the more secret I was about it, the more people it led into death because people don't get it. If like you're not suicidal, you don't get it. If you aren't chronically depressed, you don't get it. If your body isn't shutting down on you on a regular basis or fluctuating between highs and lows to like display a clear signal that something's wrong, it's hard for you to pick up on that and see what's going on. It just seems like a cry for attention. I don't know, is she whiny? Is she this? Is she that? You know, what's going on? It's just annoying. It's unsettling. I don't know what to do. I'm scared she's going to attach to me. Oh, now she doesn't want to talk to me. It's like, I get that. I understand that. And I understand why people die. And it's very unsettling for me to have people say about their either husband, wife, mom, dad, cousin, brother, sister, like anyone that's close to them, my best friend, say that like they wish they hadn't died. That like sets me off. That like I'm like, really though? Like they need to die and you don't want them to die? Who's being selfish right now? Like this person is like shutting down on a daily basis. You don't get it. Like their system is failing and they need to die and you're telling them to not. And that makes them like they don't have a winning situation here. Like it's not this isn't like, oh, they're being selfish. It's like, though, from my perspective of someone who will always try to stay alive, I will try any method that is less than death because I come so close so often. Like, so who's being selfish like now? Because now I have to stay in my brain that's like a torture chamber. I literally lived a nightmare for years. Like every time I woke up, I was like, oh shit, like no, oh man, like I wish I could return to dreamland. Like this is just not what I want to do. I don't want to be here, but my family is making it seem like I need to be here. And so that's like, I can see the perspectives and I can see how it hurts so bad to lose someone because like you want to think that you can save them when you know you can't. It's not like you know that. Like that's a clear distinction. Like someone isn't dead because of you. At the same time, like everyone affects everyone. And so like what is my role there? And I feel like I can at least bridge some of the gap or like for people who are perpetually mourning the loss of a husband or a wife, a brother or a sister, a dad or a mom, a cousin, a friend, like whoever, a boss. I mean, it's like this is happening right now, and I can't just be like, oh well, you know, it's so embarrassing to me. Like if I was on the verge of death, I would just hope that somebody would go live and be like, hey guys, to keep her alive, just don't tell her not to die. Like that makes her feel more trapped. Like don't tell her not to die. Delilah needs a mom. That makes whatever causes the person to feel like they need to die, like that's the wrong thing. Then now they really can't stay alive because they keep trying but they can't, and now they really can't die, and that's really scary. Like that's like what causes, I think from my perspective, like it's just like a lose-lose. So which lose do you want to pick? Like what's the lose-lose here? Like which one is lesser? Which one's better? No option is better. There's nothing good here. There's nothing good about chronically dying. Like I'm decaying. Like there's nothing good about like all my ups and downs and embarrassing posts and weird things I've said to people and like not showing up for work and being like sleepy and being diagnosed with narcolepsy and like having weird physical problems and um like there's nothing like ideal about any of that. So I'm not going to talk about it a lot right now. It's hard for me to not do that. But I just want to say that I will be going live a lot more, and maybe like posting videos, just because it is really confusing, but it's an emergency, frankly. A couple weeks ago, I had a really scary thing that lasted a few days that was like, I thought I was done with this. Like, I have worked my ass off my whole life to not be this way. And yet again, here I am. Like, what is going on? Like, what is the connect? Like, my family loved me. I didn't have anything like super, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a specific one time traumatic event. Like, my whole life was just this weird balance of all of us trying to keep it together. And I couldn't keep it together, like, most of the time. I don't fault anyone involved in my life. I know that that's just the way it is. Like, it wasn't like good or bad or right or wrong. It's just that I fall below the like survival line. So I just want to say, if like you're on the verge, which is me, like my whole life, or you love someone who's on the verge, or you've lost someone who is on the verge their whole life, um, it's like there's not anything like particularly good about it except for hope. And I think I found that and answered a lot of questions I had. So I'm just gonna be posting. I mean, that's it. Like, I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna try to like do it as good as possible. If it's annoying or not effective, just don't watch it. Like, it's not, it doesn't have to be like a big issue. Just like stop watching. You can unfriend me, you can not watch them, you can act like you didn't see them, you can follow funny things I post. Um, I'm gonna try a lot of different methods because this is a huge problem and it's like my biggest tie. So there's a lot of things I'm gonna be doing. It's not a big deal. I'm not gonna make it weird. It just is. Like, I just like a thing I need to do. So if you want to omit yourself from that, that's perfectly fine. I'm not gonna take it offensively. I understand things are uncomfortable for different people. This might be so uncomfortable for you because you lost someone and you disagree with me. That's okay. Like, I understand that. I'm just saying my perspective, and that there might be people that understand what I'm saying. Also ties into a lot of family problems I've had lately that I think I can like work really hard to put back together, because like my perspective was off. Like, my perspective was off. I also think that the other person, their perspective, like they just didn't match. I don't, where I found fault, I don't find fault anymore. I think it was literally like there's this weird tension and like we didn't know what to do, and like I freaked out, and my main coping method is obviously to like cut off. Like, most people probably know that have been in my life. So I just like shut it down. Like, I'm just like, nope, gotta keep going. Like, you make me feel bad, you make me feel like crap. No, it's not healthy, I know that. I'm trying to be as healthy as I can always, but since I made that connection, I'm just gonna be posting about it, and not make it weird. I'm not gonna be looking who's watching or what people are saying, you know, like that's not a thing that I'm trying to focus on. I'm trying to focus on like a method where people know that it looks like Leah's fallen off her rocker, but maybe she comes across that way, and maybe there's a different method. Maybe there are different methods to convey the same message, and I'm just going to keep trying. Like, I'm not done. Like, it's taken me 29 years to finally feel like maybe I found a solution to a problem that I've searched for my whole life. And it's taken, I mean, thousands of people. I would almost go to say like millions. Like, people don't get how positive effect they've had in my life. Like, if I was feeling down and someone like said something weird that was random that made them uncomfortable, like, you changed my day. Like, you made me change my thought pattern for that day that keep me alive another day. Like, you don't get how often the struggle is. So if you've had a positive impact in my life, like, this is just like a thing I have to do to show that like that's huge. It's huge. It's way bigger than I think people understand. Like, I would cling to anything. And so I'm gonna go back and start showing things that showed what I cling to and what my perspective was, because people have, like, I don't know, if you don't want to know, don't watch it. Just don't. Like, if you want to know, I've got some stuff. If you don't, just don't watch it. Like I said, unfriend me, act like you didn't see it, try to be not weird. If it's like a professional tie, it doesn't have to be weird. It's not a weird thing. I'm just a person who like has that slant. Everyone has different slants. I know it's not weird. You probably know it's not weird. And it's not embarrassing to me anymore. So anyway, I'm just gonna want people to know that that's the thing I'm going to be doing. And if it makes you uncomfortable right off the bat, just like be uncomfortable, but like be uncomfortable away from my like safe space here. If you can respect that, that it's just a thing that I need to not have like a whole lot of negativity surrounding it, because I've been like negativity my whole life. And so this isn't really the place for that. But if you do feel negative about it, just like maybe separate yourself from it. If you have comments like, or like you can message, you could say like that made me feel weird. Like I'm okay with that as long as it's not like you shouldn't have done that or you shouldn't have or why would you say it that way? Like I'm totally cool with like a conversation or like what do you know, like why would you say it that way, or like why do you think that that's, you know, that makes me sad because my wife, you know what I'm saying? Like I if you have like if you disagree with me, I'm totally cool with that as long as you're not like rude to me, you know? So, and if you don't, then obviously that's it. I'm just making this so people like can hear me. But if you want to, I'm not like closed off for disagreements or like whatever. Anyway, all right, I'm done. I'll be posting soon because that's the thing I'm doing. All right.